Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name's Harry. I'm in my studio, Last Sound Studio. Today we're going to be talking about the recent drum session that I did with SleepyBoy, and especially how I've used it with an 1176 compressor. And I wanted to kind of go over the enigma of this one compressor. We've spoken quite heavily about compression in the blog already, but this one compressor has a real mainstay in a lot of studios, and for a good reason. Which one they have, however, is kind of more commonly unknown, especially to people that maybe dry hire a studio, don't ask, or aren't familiar that there are so many revisions of this one unit. So today I'm going to try my best to show you revision A with the original, all the way through to the latest one that kind of inspired me to do this blog post in the first place, which was based off of the revision H, the Yuri 1176 revision H that is in Conk Studios, which Adam Greenspan I think is actually using on room mics currently for the new block party session, also using JZ microphones, which we'll have a video for later on in the year, so keep tuned. If you want to see that and you want to see more content, obviously subscribe, give a like to the video if you like it. I'm sure you want to hear them instead of hearing me talk about them, so let's dive in. Okay, so here we are in the box. The first example I'm going to show you is my latest clone variant that I've seen in the market, which is from Clark Technic. I think it's actually replicating either, well, Rev D or Rev E of this unit. They seem to be the ones that are usually more commonly associated with the clone variants that you see on the market now. But yeah, let's dive into it. I don't want to talk for too long, but let me know which one you think is your favorite in the comments below, and I'll explain each one slowly as we go through. Comparatively to the plugin versions, I find that you get a lot more bass through these in the hardware versions compared to the plugins. Although saying that, this is obviously a function that is in the Artura version, and it's also in pretty much most of the newer plugin variations of these hardware units. Again, this is doing one of the earlier revisions. I think this one is actually based off of revision C, but this time warp function actually allows you to kind of age the unit to closer to what it would have been coming out of the factory. Obviously, these units are about coming up for 60 years old now, so to recreate them faithfully to in their kind of their heyday, it would be nigh on impossible due to wear and tear, the units not really having a lifespan expectancy of more than about 30 to 35 years. So at this point, they are kind of in a way broken, but that's also a vibe and a character that we like, and that is what makes these units so special. It's also the reason why they're so highly sought after, especially revision A, of which is probably as rare as you're going to get in terms of audio equipment. So yeah, let's talk about this one. So this one has obviously, like I said, the high pass filter over here, and has the sidechain EQ that you can go for. It also has a mix knob, which is probably the most notable difference between the hardware and plugin variants. It's really good because you can kind of really go full in and dime out the input and the output, and then mix it back when you're using something like the 8, 12 or 20 to 1 ratios, as you can see over here. The all button ratio is not really one that I use unless it's a special effect, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but maybe I'll go into it in a later blog post. Let's have a little listen though. Again, thank you to SleepyBoy for allowing me to use the BB29 mono room mic from their late session that we did. Harry's an incredible drummer, and links are below if you want to go and check them out. Okay, so moving on, we have the newer variation of plugin, which is the Pulsar 1178, which is modeling the revision that kind of came after some of the earlier revisions of the 1176. As far as I can see, this is kind of more based on the revision H or the revision G. I would say the revision H because of the cosmetics, which was pretty much the only main difference between revision G and revision H. It was the addition of a silver face. It was the red button and the blue Yuri logo. Other than that, this is pretty much the cleanest one out of the bunch, hence the reason why they've added the saturation section over here, which isn't engaged, and none of these have any processing other than obviously the hardware or the plugin of choice on each one of these. So again, let's have a little listen. Let me know which one is your favorite down below out of the ones so far. Not nearly as much distortion, but definitely a smoother character across the board. I love the compression feel with that plugin. It doesn't feel overhyped, which is what a lot of the 1176 plugins do. Lastly is what I think is a very good and faithful recreation of the original 1176. This is about as close as we're probably going to get unless we listen to the actual version in real life. The only other one that is somewhat similar to this one is the Slate Virtual Mix Rack version of the vintage 1176, which again is based off of the revision A. Again, how close they are to the original unit is kind of negligible at this point. What they're trying to do is recreate the vibe and the flavor that this has to offer. So modeling maybe Crystal Lord Algae's 1176, if he actually has one of the original 1176 revision A's, you know, if they've managed to do it faithfully to his one, wonderful, but each one will have been built by hand at that point, so they will have all sounded slightly different as well. So let's have a little listen to this plugin. It's the last out of the list, and then I'm going to play the original stem as well lastly, so you can go back through and hear the compression between obviously the versions of the 1176 and obviously without just the straight mono BB29 mic from JZ microphones. At the back of the room, it's around about 13 foot away from the kit and it's aiming towards the wall. If you want some more information about that drum session, I've actually done a video walkthrough and that shows you that microphone comparatively to the wide-spaced AB pair and the XY pair of BT301s from JZ as well. All links are applicable in the description below. If you want to see more of this content, make sure that you subscribe, give a like to the video, it really does help. In the meantime, stay creative and I hope you enjoyed this last example.